With a knick-knack paddy whack, give a dog a bone. Why don't City fuck off home? Hello and welcome to All For United with me, Rusty, and to the good, the bad and the ugly. It's the show with 3 topics and 3 questions, and the questions I expect my guests to join in with, me to join in with, but especially you guys in the comments to join in with. So hello to everybody in the comments right now. How we doing, boys? We all right?
Excellent.
Very good, mate.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Good. All's good. We've got Phil in the comments as well. Yo. How we doing, Phil, mate? This is a fan debate. It sounds like Van der Beek every time I say it, but it's not. I'm going to have to slow down when I speak. It's a fan debate show. So please, if you're watching right now, join in, get on YouTube, join in the comments. If you're lurking, stop being a football pervert, join in. That's all we ask from you, because it's going to be a bit of a laugh, bit of a giggle, talk about a few serious points, but end of the day, it's going to be light-hearted, a bit of tongue-in-cheek as well. So the first topic this week, boys, on the good, the bad, and the ugly is the good. And for me, it's Bruno coming out in support for the manager in the media lately after Duncan Castles, the absolute wet wipe, once again tried to put down Ollie. I think he's got some kind of agenda against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Duncan Castles. Whatever it may be, I don't know if he didn't send him a Christmas card once upon a time, but he just doesn't seem to like him, does he? But Bruno's come out all guns blazing and said, listen, don't use my name, don't use my club's name, and don't use my manager's name to slander us. I won't accept it. This isn't happening. And I think we get to see week in, week out, and day out from some of the pictures we see from Old Trafford and from Carrington that they look happy. They look like they're having a good time. So what's the issue? But I'm dead proud of Bruno for doing this. I'm going to come to James on this one first, mate, because obviously you were a journo in the. You don't like being called journos, do you? But a journalist in the making. So I'll come to you first, mate. What's your thoughts on Bruno coming good after what Duncan Castle said?
Well, I'm relieved to say the least. I think if a player like Bruno he's been at the club for such a short amount of time, if the claims were real and he wasn't happy, then that'd be a real sort of wake up call to everyone. You know, he's carried us through the last sort of 6 months, so. You know, I also wouldn't have been that surprised, to be fair, with how this club tends to treat players. But yeah, I think the fact that he's come out and said it's not true just sort of says more about Duncan Castles than anything. I think he's just going after clicks at this point. From going from a very well-respected journalist, it's stuff like this that just sort of taints his reputation and makes him less reliable going forward. So it's just going to hamper him more than anything.
Sorry, I was drinking my drink then when you finished, but yeah, it's true. He did have a good reputation, but you must know as a journalist, and a future journalist wanting to be yourself. The minute you start doing stuff like this, you discredit yourself. When the truth comes out, and you're just like putting pen to paper because you're bored that day, and you think you'll make something up. If it's not proven to be credible, it can only do you more harm than it can do good. Alan. How are we doing, mate? Welcome to the show. He's a bit of fresh meat to the show, a virgin on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome, mate. How are you feeling about Bruno? Are you feeling proud that he came out and he defended the club and defended himself and the manager?
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Bruno gave a big L to the media gossipers. Big L. Because not a lot of players defend our squad or defend our manager. If it comes, I'm not taking out names from our present squad, but Bruno, he's such kind of a character. The type of mentality he gives to the team, it's incredible. He just puts out that confidence to each and everyone in the team. It just reflects in his performance and the team's performance as well against Newcastle. After missing that penalty, I said, if it was me, a plethora of thoughts would go through my head. And I would just mess that game up. But Bruno, he kept trying, and then he scored a goal. He gave an assist to Rashford. So it's the character that reflects to each and everyone in that squad.
Yeah, bang on, mate. You're quite right. He's a shining example, isn't he? And he's carried on being a shining example by stepping forward and giving it back to Duncan Castles and anybody else in the media. Barry, you're a bit older than me, right? But we're kind of the old guys in the group here right now. We've seen plenty of slander come towards Man United over the years, and like Alex Ferguson dealt with it beautifully. This reminds me a bit like Alex stepping forward and taking one on the chin and letting people know, no, there's nothing wrong here. We're perfectly fine. Leave us alone.
Yeah, I think, we're in an age where everybody, I suppose myself included, is an amateur journalist. So on social media, you can really slander people. And, there's so much clickbait around and there's so much nonsense around that we see, especially in the transfer window. But all this stuff about discord and disharmony and things like that. So I think Bruno did really well. And I think Bruno has hit the ground running at United. I think that a lot of players, when you see interviews with ex-players, a lot of them who moved to United from other clubs found it a bit intimidating in the beginning. But I think Bruno's hit the ground running from the get-go. He's kind of taken charge of himself and in many respects those around him. And I think that Bruno has the makings. If he continues like this, certainly in years to come, we'll speak of him as a United legend. That word does get used too often. He's only been around for about 6 months. But in those 6 months, he's created a fabulous impression, not only as a player, but he's articulate in interviews. And I think he says it like it is. You've seen training sessions where he seems to be geeing up the other players. You've seen him doing that on the field. And I absolutely agree with what the other lads have said, and especially what Alan said, that, he missed the penalty. First penalty is missed in the UK. He could have hidden away, but he did exactly the opposite. So he is carrying the mantle very well. I think he's a great representative of the club, and I think he's giving a one-fingered salute to the journos that are rumour mongers. So very impressed with him.
Perfectly put, as always, Barry. Spot on though, mate. Yeah, one finger salute to the journalist out there who want to discredit United, who want to make up rumours. You can't do it now. Bruno's in town, baby. He's going to come out. He's going to have you. And I think you're right as well. The word legend does get thrown around a bit too easily these days. But there's definitely a player in the makings. If he's willing to be a one-man club, and we're willing to run along him at the same time as well, and buy the players that we need to be successful, then he might stay around and be a club legend. I definitely agree. What do you think in the comments, guys? Do you think that Bruno is a future legend? And also, how do you feel about him sticking the finger up to Duncan Castles and supporting Man United and being behind his team? I think it's absolutely fantastic. The question this week for the good then, which I reckon is going to be unanimous throughout the board, and let us know what you think in the comments as well as hitting the like button. Future captain or not, Bruno? And I'm going to come to you, Mr. Binns, first. What do you think is to be fair, just before backstage, you clarified that Bruno's been declared. Ollie said that he will be the captain for tomorrow night's game against PSG. So kind of answers this question already. I know Maguire's not there, so that's the reason somebody else needed the armband. But is he a future captain moving forward as well?
Well, he can be. He's got the character to be a future captain because he's shown the consistency in his game. He's been demanding from his players. And in today's training session as well, we saw a heated, area between him and Alex Telles when they were playing the rondo in training. So you can see that he wants the best out of each and every player who's playing for United at the moment. So if tomorrow's going to be a test for him. If he does well in that captaincy role, maybe if we win that game with the help of Bruno, being an integral role, helping each and every teammate to get the best out of them. Maybe we can. Ollie might be in a situation where that he'll have a headache between Maguire and Bruno. But it's too quick to say if he can be the next captain.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough answer as well. I'd seen the rondos and them two going at it a little bit and whatnot. But you like that drive, you like that spirit, don't you, in the training ground? And I think tomorrow's going to be a massive test for him being captain as well, because he does wear his heart on his sleeve and he is quick to react. maybe sometimes a bit too quick to react with his mouth and run his mouth. And tomorrow we might get the runaround. So I expect to see a very animated Bruno, especially when he's got a captain's armband on his sleeve as well. Come to you this time, Barry, mate. Is he for you? Obviously, he's a future legend for you. You potentially feel. So I imagine I know the answer to this question, but how do you feel about Bruno being a future captain?
Yeah, I think at the moment it would be very harsh to make him the captain ahead of Maguire. Obviously, Maguire's not available tomorrow night, so I think he's a logical choice. I don't think you necessarily have to be the captain to be a leader on the field. United, certainly in the Fergie era, had several leaders on the field, not necessarily captains. So Bruno can certainly play that role. And, you know, Maguire's circumstances have been very difficult of late. He's risen above them in the Newcastle game. He's certainly enhanced his reputation. But you wonder, you know, to go to a guy who's the incumbent captain and now appoint somebody else, I certainly don't think that's going to happen. But you're not going to have him playing in every game. So certainly, who knows what the future heralds. But Bruno, definitely a leader in the making because he's demonstrated leadership skills. But of course, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, what his teammates think, etc. And one wonders when it comes to appointing a captain, how much of a say his fellow players have in that. Because you want somebody who's popular, but you want somebody who leads by example and somebody who's not scared to give a bit of a tongue lashing to somebody who's not performing well. Yeah. So in a very roundabout way, in answer to the question, is he potentially a future captain? I'd say yes.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to cement himself as a vice captain now. Something I don't think we've had for years, really. Somebody who's been a regular vice captain. Obviously, when Maguire and Bruno don't play, then there'd be options for somebody else. But I think when Maguire doesn't play, I think now, naturally, the armband's going to go to him. Just before I come to you, James, just going to jump on this comment here because it's both good and bad. Next says, if Bruno hangs out with modest players like James McTominay or Fred, then sure. But should he be captain, but hangs around with divas like Rashford? When's Rashford been a diva? I think Rashford's possibly the most grounded young man we have at Old Trafford right now, who spends most of his days away from a football ground trying to generate millions and millions of pounds for children who don't have a meal or food to put in the mouth during the day, and helping out those lesser, that's a bad word, but people with less than he has and people like we have here. But I do agree, and Martial as well. If Martial's a well-grounded family man. Lingard, yes. Okay, Lingard's a bit of a diva. Pogba's a diva. If you want to knock around with them and go that direction, I imagine he wouldn't be captain material. But also defending Bruno, he's a very humble family man, so you're not going to be seeing starting up a close range anytime soon next. But cheers, dude, for the input there, mate. But I'm not having you on the Rashford and the Martial, especially not the Rashford one. Don't know what you're thinking there, Mocker. James, what you saying, mate? Is Bruno a future captain?
I think it goes without saying he's a future captain. We've seen his leadership on the pitch already. He's not just a motivator as well. He's not afraid to get into his teammates and point out where they're going wrong, and that's what you need. You don't want a yes man, do you? But I think, you know, the sort of romantic inside of me wanted either a Pogba or a De Gea to have been captain by this point. Obviously, that didn't work out for them. And then going forward, again, Bruno seems like a good choice, but I'd also, you know, something inside of me wants to see an academy player as captain. So Rashford and McTominay are decent choices, but they both need to sort of step up the leadership qualities. I've not really seen much of them on the pitch, you know, sort of bossing them about. And then, you know, looking even further forward than that, I'm hoping sort of Mengi can step up and take the armband at some point. So, yeah. Yeah,
I like that idea that somebody from the academy can do it. I think Nex actually said he would have liked McTominay tomorrow. If he plays tomorrow. But the thing is with McTominay, you don't know when he's going to be playing, so you can't have somebody who's a fringe player, I guess, coming in and taking the armband. But if McTominay continues to develop and becomes the defensive midfielder we all want him to be and expect him to be, I don't think there's any reason why McTominay can't be put in the conversation for a future captain. Jax has put Bruno as an obvious choice for captain tomorrow night. and De Gea. I thought De Gea would have got it myself, but yeah, obviously Bruno's got these leadership qualities that we've all covered. He is willing, as Barry said, to give a tongue lashing to players no matter where they stand in the hierarchy of Man United or how good they are. If you're doing something wrong, he's going to tell you he thinks you're doing something wrong. So I definitely agree. That's the good done, guys. On to the bad. In the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't forget, keep joining in. Thank you very much for the likes on Facebook, and give us a like on here as well, and subscribe if you wish. The bad this week, though, is Rumourville. Now, I don't want to slate the boy because he's young. He's only 18, and I don't want to be knocking him down, but rumours are that Greenwood doesn't have a slight injury. But him and Brandon Williams have been out drinking, and that's why they were both omitted from the squad. If true, I can't take this excuse anymore that they're young, because you're representing Manchester United. You need to have a level of professionalism. If you want to do that, go and get a part-time job and go back to college and do a BTEC in sports science. You know what I mean? It's not, this ain't the place for you. You've got to be professional. You've got to want to give 100%. It's only a short career. When you're 38, then you can go on the piss. You know what I mean? Do what you want then. Live your days out that way with all the money you've got. Now's the time to knuckle down and do the job you're meant to be doing. In the same breath, it's not confirmed that that's what he's done. So, you know what I mean? I don't want to be lambasting the young lad if he's not done. If you're watching this, mate, you know what I mean? Just put the beer down. Just enjoy the show. But for me, it's not the kind of behaviour I want to see at Old Trafford. Oh, I've missed the press conference, you see. Ollie's denied that in the press conference, but of course, Ollie is going to deny that. Just for the sake of rumours and this show, Jax, we're going to ignore that comment. Barry, I'll come to you first, mate, because I know you had a few good points on Greenwood and Foden's behaviour when they were away on international duty for England as well.
Yeah, look, I think, as you've mentioned, this is unsubstantiated. So if we're going to kind of slag him off in an unfounded manner, I don't think that's fair. So let's speculate for a moment, and let's imagine these rumours are true. If they are, it sets a very bad precedent. The combination of what he did on England duty and then this, it shows you that this guy could go in completely the wrong direction. And I'm having a senior moment at the moment. There was that youngster that was such a promising player that got involved with the wrong company, and
Ravel
Morrison.
Morrison, absolutely. Ravel Morrison. You know, that's tragic, something like that. And we'd hate to see something like this, because Greenwood has the makings of being a stunning player. And if this is true, I would hope that Ollie comes down on him like a ton of bricks. The stuff about the guy's a young guy, etc., that's bull. That's utter crapola. I don't subscribe to that. And if you're representing Man United, you need to represent it in a proper manner. So it would be unacceptable behavior. And if it is true, he should be severely censured for it. If it is not true, then we owe him a huge apology. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's bang on, isn't it? Yeah, you know, as we were saying, guys out there, we're definitely not having a go at Greenwood. We're just going along with the rumours right now, and they could be true. Ollie's denied it, and you know what I mean? I trust the man, Ollie. But at the same time, it just comes so soon after his last performance away with England and getting a couple of brasses back at an hotel and banging him up with Phil Foden. It's not the behaviour that we want from our players regardless. Alan, what's your take on the fact that he could have been a bit naughty and him and Brandon have been for a few drinks?
Yeah, true. I think something might have happened. Ollie will definitely defend his players, whether they do it right or wrong in the presser, because it's his players and United is his club. So he has to defend them. But inside the dressing room or inside his office, Ollie is a true bastard. You know, he's going to kick Mason out. Like he's going to do whatever it's possible to ground him there, him and Brandon Williams. I think Greenwood trained today, if I remember correctly, after seeing those videos. So I think it's just a matter of grounding in order to, show that so-and-so thing is not right to do, because he's just 18 or 19 years old. So there will be a phase where they'll be going through a silly period. And right now it is. He's going through a tough period, Mason Greenwood, and I think he's having a lot of personal issues as well, because at this era, mental health issues have been proclaimed a lot, and it has been a big issue. Whether it be me or you, it has been a big issue at the moment with the coronavirus, and so right now I think it's a rest, and it's the right decision not to play him. If it's a disciplinary action that's taken by Oli, fair play, I accept that.
Yes, mate. In the same tone as Barry there, really, isn't it? That if they have done it, they have to be disciplined. They have to come down on a ton of bricks. And if that's the case, that's what's happened as well, because he said now, hasn't he? I've just been reading that he's had a minor injury and he will be available for the Chelsea game. Gaynor says they are both so privileged to be playing at the biggest club in the world. Damn right they are. Hopefully someone will take them aside and make sure they get back on track. Yeah, there's loads of players out there who have gone off the wave side. I would say Ravel Morrison was the worst of the lot. What a potential world beater he was going to beat, and he just wasted his talent, and it was just such a shame to watch. But then you've got players like Pogba who have never even had a drink, you know what I mean, forever being the professional from an early age. So maybe Pogba needs to put an arm around his shoulder and say, listen, I did it this way, you can do it this way too. James, what you saying, dude? What you saying on the matter with Greenwood potentially being out on the lash?
I'm sort of split with it, because given recent events, I wouldn't put it past him. But then, you know, I've heard a quote recently saying United have got more holes than a sieve. So information that would get out does get out at United. You know, there's no keeping any secrets there. So I think we would have had it confirmed by a number of sources by now if it was true. Yeah. You know, I think the papers would have been all over it, and you'd be hearing all about it. So I'm sort of staying with the innocent until proven guilty because of that. Because, you know, there's no way something like that happens at United and no one finds out. So if it is true, then I think the punishment that they've got being left out of these two squads is fair enough. I don't think you go any further. Like, it's only a couple of drinks, isn't it? I get they're professionals, but they're humans at the end of the day. It's not like they're not allowed alcohol at all. But yeah, I think Barry and Alan have pretty much covered everything I wanted to say, really.
No worries, yeah, you're all right. It's not been a lot in the newspapers. The media haven't really run with it that much, so they mustn't have enough sources to run with this one. Maybe Duncan Castles might run with it, considering there's no fucking evidence. That'd be something that he'd be interested in, wouldn't he? But 1 second before I jump to the question, Jacob, can I come on the call to give my say? It's not a call-in show, dude, but we do appreciate that. Maybe that's an idea we can put forward to Ben Pearce and have people in the comments give us a bell and let us know what they think. But what you can do for now is you can hit the like button and just put your comments of exactly what you think, and I'll read them out, my friend. I know you. There's only so many characters, and you might have more to say than what you're limited to. But give it your best shot. Right, the question for the bad then. So if Mason Greenwood was potentially our next bad boy of Manchester United, I don't think he will be, to be honest. I think he seems fairly well grounded. He's made his mistake going away with England and done whatever he's done over here potentially, even though I'm inclined to think it is probably been over exaggerated to a point. If you, and I want people in the comments to jump in with this as well, if you were the bad boy of your football club, what would you be known for being the bad boy for? Barry, come to you first, mate.
Oh, definitely women. Not even a question.
like the George Best of
without a doubt. Without a doubt. I would have made George Best look like a choir boy.
So Barry is getting. I think you've got a bit of competition enough, and Jacob there, he feels like he's getting all the girls as well, and everybody seems to be shagging. Look, Phil's now shagging everyone's misses. Phil, that sounds more like you'd be like the John Terry of the team, doesn't it? If you're just like shagging the rest of the players' misses. But so Barry, you'd be like a bit of a Casanova then, mate, would you? You'd be known for like playing around, like not just on the pitch, but on the pitch.
In my wildest dreams, yes, in my wildest dreams. If I was in the team, I'd be the guy who was the goody who'd be dobbing on guys who did bad things. I'd be running to the manager, telling tales about the other guys.
Which is funny because we've had that one before, so this is like the extreme to that. We've actually asked people in the past who they reckon at Man United would be most likely to be a bit of a grass, and I think Daniel James won out in the end, and a few others were mentioned as well. But in our team, Barry's going to be the shagger. Alan, if you were going to be the bad boy of football, what would you be the bad boy for?
I would have done a Maguire in Greece, maybe, to Ed Woodward.
You said that again?
Because I would have been a Harry Maguire in Greece, doing it on Ed Woodward instead of the policeman. Because the transfer window has been horrific. So, as the captain of the team, definitely you have to piss it all over the CEO of the club. And yeah, that's my final say.
So literally, you would be the man rather than the fans having the uproar and taking it to Ed Woodward. You'd be the man in the club, and you'd be like, "Hey Ed, hey Glazers, I'm the captain of this club. I don't like what I'm seeing. Fucking sort it out, mate. Or you're getting a bit of my slab head on you."
If I drink a bottle of beer, I might end up puking it all over Ed. Maybe.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. James, mate. You don't strike me as a bad boy, mate. But if you was going to be a bad boy, what kind of bad boy of football are you?
I think it'd just be work ethic. I mean, I struggle to get up for a 9 o'clock in the morning lecture, never mind running around a pitch for 90 minutes. So I think I just get told off all the time for being way too lazy. So yeah, I'll go a bit more tame than the other two.
It is a bit tame. So yeah, no, I don't know about Alan. Alan's on about puking on people. Barry's shagging him, but you've just got a problem with timekeeping. Which actually just beat mine. Mine's definitely, if I was the bad boy of football, probably, in fact, I lie, to be quite honest. Most times when I'm on my shows, there's always a beer in hand, isn't there? There's always, I would be Mason Greenwood right now. There'd be rumours flying around all the time that I was pissed up again. I'd be like Gazza me. I'd be turning up to training in my full fishing gear because he's done that before, hasn't he? he went out top pissed on his own. Turned up to a match 5 minutes before kickoff to get changed in his trawlers, just absolutely like still stinking for the night before. I would be the Gaza of football, and all that money would absolutely corrupt me. I wouldn't be able to be a shagger like Doc because all this beer would have given me brewer's droop. There's not a chance I'd be getting one up like.
I told you that was in my wildest dreams, Rusty. My wildest dreams.
Dreams can always come true, my man. Right, on to the ugly, which is a bit of a mental one this week. Please, once again, join in the comments with this one. What we do, if you're only just joining us, we do a good, a bad, and then the ugly, usually all about Manchester United or something weird and wonderful in the world of football. And this week, in the weird and wonderful world of football, I found out that in Sicily, on the island of Sicily, there are just 2 football teams that contest the league. They play each other 17 times a season. The only time they don't play each other is when they're playing each other in the cup. It's absolutely crazy. And the names are Garrison Gunners and Woolpack Wanderers. They sound like proper English Sunday League club from Yorkshire. I think I mentioned it for Ben before, and he was like, Woolpack Wanderers, is that like the local like football team on Emmerdale or something? Well, I think it's just absolutely crazy that these 2 teams play each other 17 times. Can you imagine the rivalry? Imagine if 2 players for the opposite team didn't hate each other, crunching each other every week. There's not much to talk about on this one because I don't think we all know much about Gunners, Garrison Gunners and Woolpack Wanderers. But what I do want to hear from you guys and for the people in the comments, if we were to only play one team week in, week out, who would it be in the world of football? Never mind English football, anybody in the world of football if you want, but who would you like Man United playing week in, week out? And I'll come to you first, Mr. Vince.
I'll go with Liverpool because after seeing all the cries with Virgil van Dijk being injured, I think it definitely has to be Liverpool, and the intense amount of rivalry as well, because I wouldn't be bored watching them play 17, 18, 20, 50 times because seeing United Liverpool each and every week, maybe twice a day, twice a week, it's a big thing. It's a historic fixture, so that should be it. Yeah.
It is an historic game, Alan, and also it's one of them games, though, isn't it? Though you've got the bragging rights if you win. So it'd be like a yo-yo of emotions, wouldn't it? Because you'd like play about Wednesday at Cup, and we'd be like 5-0, 5-0, and then Saturday like lunchtime kickoff, get beat 2-0. The emotions would just be too much for me if I was playing Liverpool that often. Jacob's gone with Barcelona, mate. Right now, I reckon we're probably on a level playing field. There could be like lots of draws going there at the moment because Barcelona ain't firing on all cylinders. We're not firing on all cylinders. And Phil said them names, Gunners, Garrison Gunners and Woolpack Rangers sound like Pro Evo names. They really do. James, who you playing every week if you could play someone every week?
I'm going to agree with Jacob in Barcelona, but purely for the reason that their squad is ancient at this point. I think they've got at least 7 players over the age of 30 in the first team. So you're playing twice a week every week for a while, and eventually their legs are absolutely gone, and you'll win the league pretty comfortably against them. So it's a big game at the new camp as well. So you can't go wrong winning the league and playing at the new camp every week.
That's a touch. Yeah, lots of away days in Spain as well. Get to Barcelona, Lloret de Mar, party. I like the idea of that one, but I like how you thought about that one as well, James. Like literally, they are getting a bit old. Their legs will not last a season as well. I like, yeah, good one. Before I have my say, Doc, where are you going with this one, mate? Who are you playing week in, week out?
I'd like Man United week in and week out to play Kaizer Chiefs. Now, Kaizer Chiefs are a local South African team, but that would mean that I'd be able to watch United playing regularly on our shores over here. So that's who I'd opt to have them play, because United have not travelled to South Africa since the start of the 2012-13 season. So it would be a way of getting them over here, and that's who I would choose to watch them play against.
That is great logic. I hear you, Barry. When did you move over there?
Me to South Africa when I was 6 years old.
Oh, right, yeah. So you've been there quite a while then, like a few years. But you do get across quite a bit watching that, don't you?
Yeah, for about 15 years. Sorry?
But I've seen plenty of pictures of you over here with the Reds, like at the training ground and stuff like that. So you get over here quite a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I've had some very, very fortunate connections over the years in Manchester, and it's been awesome. But look, just to be a United supporter is a privilege. We support the best club in the world. There's no getting away from it. Whatever the results are, however we're playing, United an institution. They're not a football team. It's just the greatest club in the world.
Yeah, bang on, mate. We are the greatest club in the world. Phil reckons he'd like to see us play week in against Radcliffe Borough. I'm sure I played against them, mate. I used to play at Bamber Bridge for a while. I'm Morecambe and Southport. I'm sure I've been to Radcliffe Borough in the Northern Premier League, mate. But yeah, 1,800 capacity with our away support. Love that, mate. What else? We got Dortmund, because they are a fun club. They sing that horrible song that the Scousers sing, but we can forgive them because they're not the Scousers at the end of the day, are they? Right, for me, the last one before we shut the show up, it'd be Leeds United for me. I was going to say Liverpool just because it's our biggest rivalry, but because they're better than us right now, I couldn't put myself through that, losing more than we win. So I've gone with Leeds because we are still better than fucking Leeds. I hate Leeds, and it'd be great to spend the full season just absolutely being bragging rights over those Yorkshire sheep shagging bellends, to put it politely. And the away games against Leeds are like some of the best fixtures to go to as well. They're a bit naughty. You better not wear your Man United top, but they're a good laugh and they're a good atmosphere. So for me, I want to beat Leeds week in, week out, and win the quadruple as well. Go one step further than Fergie, even though we're only playing one team, and win the quadruple. So that'd be it for me. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Thanks to the guests, Alan, James, and Barry. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel because there's so many great shows coming up. I'm popping off over to my channel now, Eat, Sleep, United, Repeat to do Wanker of the Week. So jump across there and have a watch of that as well. Guys, thanks very much. Everybody in the comments, thanks very much. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the evening and enjoy us kicking some arse hopefully tomorrow night against PSG. See you later.
Bye-bye, lads.